Your first hire, when and how to do it right. Running your business is exciting, and if you're reading this blog, then you've been doing it all on your own, juggling every role and maybe contracting out a few as your business has grown. Now, however, you're starting to notice that running your business takes more time and energy than it did before, and it might be time for some real help, some full time help. The idea of bringing someone new into your organization can be scary when you're used to flying solo. Those fears typically produce the same questions. Do I have enough money to pay someone on salary? Is there really enough work for a full time employee? How do I choose someone reliable? I wear so many hats right now. Which role should I hire for? Rest assured, all of these uncertainties are normal, but they shouldn't stop you from doing what's best for your business. The two questions I get asked all the time are, when do I hire my first employee? And how do I choose the right person and the right role? The shorter answer is, it depends. I know, classic marketing response, but it's true. Every business and business owner is different, so the exact approach to hiring people will vary. Luckily, though, there are some simple questions and activities you can go through to determine if it's time for you to take on your first employee and who that should be. When to hire. Depending on your business and personality, this could be one of the toughest or easiest decisions you have to make. Some people are energized by bringing in new hires into the fold, while others are hesitant to let go of control. The key is finding balance both in your personality and the timing. If you hire someone too soon, you'll likely won't have enough work or revenue to sustain an employee. Remember that full-time and some part-time employees come with added costs like payroll taxes, employee benefits, health insurance, and more. If you don't have the cash flow to support these additional costs, it may strain your business finances and eventually ends with you having to let someone go and recoup months' worth of revenue. If you wait too long, then you might miss out on new business opportunities because you didn't have the capacity to take them on by yourself. Or worse, the quality of your work could suffer because you're stretched too thin trying to manage your clients and business operations. There are a few telltale signs that it's time to go, a good time to consider your first hire. You're consistently hiring independent contractors or freelancers for at least 20 hours a week. This shows you have consistent work that you can't do it on your own. Hire an employee to take this on gives you someone dedicated to your success and able to focus on all the efforts of your clients. Number two, you consistently sell similar services. When your clients are all requesting similar services or packages, it's often wise to hire someone who can handle those tasks. For example, designers, copywriters, developers, etc. This also lets you carve out a specialty in your industry. Third, your client engagements are profitable but overly time intensive. If you're meeting your financial goals with clients but spending too much time keeping those accounts afloat, then you need help. Hiring a full-time account manager can take some of that work off your plate, so ensure you're continuing to provide great service. Do any of these three apply to you? Some businesses will face just one, while others might be in the thick of all three. Whatever your situation, if that sounds all too similar or all too familiar, then it's probably time to start thinking about hiring. How to hire. Step one is knowing when to hire employees. Step two is navigating the hiring process. I know it can feel overwhelming at the start, so I'll break it down into easy steps. The trick is to stay focused on your agency values and work backwards from there. I know you're thinking, but Tyler, what about the skill set, the education, the experience? All those things are important, but keep your values top of mind is also the most critical to successful hiring. New employees should not only be capable, but also a good match for your agency. That's the difference between a long-term team and a revolving door to short-term hires. Be on the lookout for people who match your core values and will exemplify them in your work. You can see this in their personality, their character, their work ethic, attitude, etc. Finding the right person. Determining what you need from your first hire starts when you figure out what you can reasonably accomplish, both day-to-day and long-term, and what important tasks are left over. To help me assess this, I like the Covey matrix. This matrix helps me determine what's most important and what can wait till later. Everything in quadrant 1 needs to be handled first, with quadrant 2 prioritizing these right after. These boxes house tasks that will impact the long-term success of your business, and they're where you should consider most of your time. How many items in quadrant 1 and 2 can you accomplish on your own? Keep in mind, you also need to eat, sleep, and be a person outside of work. What items are frequently getting left behind or put on the back burner? Your first hire should be someone who can help with the important tasks and keep them from falling through the cracks. You want to focus specifically on the ones that are tough to contract out. Typically, those are client-facing roles. This is how you ensure you get the most from your first employee, but also that you're doing the most for your business. Figure out what tasks need to be done, and you should also consider what you like doing. Who you hire will depend not only on your business and needs, but also who you are as a business owner. In my case, I love to build things, but I'm not as great at maintaining them. So when it came to making my first hire for my agency, I focused on finding people who could help me stay on top of all the client accounts. I kept the sales role to myself for longer because I loved doing it and I was pretty good at it. Many of us small business owners are idea people and need a support staff to help us implement, execute, and edit those ideas. The editing part is a critical aspect to your first hire. You want someone who can and will tell you no when your ideas are either aren't worth pursuing or need some fine tuning. This gives you a sounding board to test things out, and often that person will help you stick to the growth path instead of wandering into the weeds. Bonus, where to look for your first hire. Knowing where to find your first hires is just as important as when and how to do it. Job seekers are everywhere, but where are the most qualified candidates for your industry? Job boards like Indeed and Glassdoor, they're easy places to start. Some people also leverage their social media accounts such as LinkedIn or Facebook to advertise openings. If you go this route, be sure to include the job title, job description, responsibilities, and qualifications you're looking for. My primary advice, though, is don't feel restricted to the traditional recruiting channels. Your first hire might be someone you met at a conference last year or a contractor that you were impressed with. As you go through life, you'll meet hundreds of talented people in the space that you might end up being a perfect fit for your business. Keep in mind, when it comes time to making your first hire, and reach out to and see if they're interested in being part of your organization. Sidebar, not sure where to start for your first hire? Let me know. I'll send you my top 8 places where I've found people. Last part, always be prepared. Half of owning an agency is planning for what's next and what's next or what could be next. When it comes to your staff, always be on the lookout for who should be the next addition to your team. If you work with or develop relationships with someone who is an obvious culture fit for your company and working style, make a mental note for the next time you're ready to add to your team. You might know exactly what role they fit into, but sometimes you just know that they'll make you and your company better.